Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever and wherever you are watching or listening. This is the Holistic Monitor, and I'm your host, Nick Scogna. The Holistic Monitor is a wellness podcast featuring life energy research, health and wellness transformation, self-improvement and empowerment, philosophy, spirituality, and now guest interviews as well. We look forward to your comments on our YouTube channel at Holistic Monitor. And you can also listen on the go with us at Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and more. And with that, let's get today's show started. Hey, how's everybody doing? And here we are at the 40th episode of the Holistic Monitor. And I'm your host, Nick Scogna. So today I wanted to go over a few things as regards to news and a little bit of an update for the show. On my 30th episode, I went real quick, so I'm going to try to slow it down a little bit, extend it out, and go over some other things that are of interest to me in the news currently. A lot of things that I'm looking at. But I wanted to also say thank you to all the followers out there. This has been a wild ride to the 40th episode. Looking forward to the 50th coming up probably sooner than I would think, in a couple weeks. We're going to be putting out 3 episodes a week for the next several weeks, and then going back to once a week in September. So I'm looking to do more of these live shows starting at the end of August into September, and we'll see how long that I can maintain the live shows. So there may be a few recorded shows here and there, but it's going to be moving to Tuesday, 9 p.m. for live shows like this. So something I wanted to go over as far as things in the news that I've found for the world that we live in, and things that help me expand my sense of where I am in this universe. One of the things that I find fascinating on this planet is the Great Pyramid. And I'm not alone. I know just about everybody finds it fascinating. But it is something I follow. I've read a few books on the Great Pyramid to kind of delve into some of the weird characteristics. And I don't have a lot of the details and the numbers and all of that about this massive monument, but very easy to look up. Very finely skilled and crafted structure, the pyramid. And for the longest time, we were only able to find so many passages. They recently did a scan using cosmic rays and a reader that read the cosmic rays, and they found this very large airplane-sized chamber that is above the entrance, the Grand Gallery. And that is amazing. But there was another scan done. I believe it's a SARD reading. And this was done without the government's permission. But what it revealed was that there were many passages and many chambers and a completely different design to the Great Pyramid that were previously not known. Now, one of the really interesting things about this scan is it went really far down into the earth as well, and it found that there were 2 descending pathways very deep into the earth. And there's been a lot of stories that there are underground tunnels that connect many parts of the Giza Plateau to each other and potentially to other structures in Egypt. I'm not going to go into that. That's something that you can delve into if you'd like. It's a really interesting subject and full of age-old myths and stories. But the scan is quite revealing. I did want to play the 2-minute video from the researchers that did the scan, and this is available. I'll have it linked in the description of the show so that you can go and check it out yourself. But for right now, I just want to I really want to share this amazing news. This is big because this is a structure that has inspired millions of people for generations upon generations. The Great Pyramid was once encased in limestone, white limestone, that would have made it very, very bright in the sun. And limestone with this feature over time hardens, making the structure even stronger over the course of millennia. At one point in time, the way that I understand the story was there were invaders coming to Egypt, and it may have been the Greeks, it may have been the Romans. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe somebody can comment on the veracity of this myth as well. The priests, seeing the oncoming invaders, closed the door, the main door to the pyramid, the Great Pyramid. I want to say it was Greece, somewhere around 1000 BC. They sealed the pyramid off. They carted away all of the sacred objects inside of the pyramid, and the door wasn't opened again for very, very long. 700 AD-ish, there was another conquest, and they broke into the pyramid after over 1,000 years. This structure was closed, and they broke into the pyramid using a hot-cold method. They built a fire on the limestone, on one of the casing stones, and then splashed water on it, and that caused the hot stone underneath to crack, and they were able to bust into the pyramid. And 700 something AD, this is before we're dealing with gunpowder or anything like that, so there weren't any cannonballs being shot at the pyramid or anything like that. But they broke in, and then they tunneled through, and with a little bit of luck, they actually heard a stone fall. One of the diggers heard something fall in the distance, and it happened to be stone along the entryway, if I remember correctly. They tunneled down, and they found what we've known as the tunnels of the pyramid until now. They explored it at that point in time looking for treasure. They found none. They found no burial. They didn't find anything, not even hieroglyphs. And but until now, all we knew were the passages that those monument destroyers from the 700 AD time frame found. And the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, all these extra little things. There's been a little bit of discovery here and there in the last 20 or so years. But this new discovery is mind-blowing. And again, this is something that helps us to expand our understanding of the world that we live in, the mysteries, and further explore those things that we find hidden, to never stop seeking, never stop looking. So let me see if I can cue this up for you here. This is the video from Corrado Malanga, and I will have it tagged in the description so you can check it out. Well, there you go. Pretty amazing, right? So that is the uh, that is the absolutely mind-blowing new scans from the Great Pyramid that show corridors all throughout the structure. Now, what does that take us to as far as a metaphysical understanding, or perhaps a new physics understanding of the Great Pyramid? That is going to have to be revealed with more study. But it is amazing. It looks much more to me like a classic burial type of chamber, multiple areas to put goods and boats and cattle and everything else like that mummified. It could also be some form of energetic aperture, energetic structure. There are lots of things pointing to it being a massive generator or a massive water accumulator, which would make a lot of sense for the area. But who knows? It's one of those great mysteries that I just love to I love to ponder on. That help me expand my thoughts about the world that I live in, making it extend into the past really deep. And I found that really insightful. So I wanted to share that news as a groundbreaking study and research of the Great Pyramid. It's pretty amazing. Something else I wanted to go over, new news in regards to the Life Energy Research, Life Energy Publications company that I now run, which is a family business. I've taken it over from my mom, and I've been working pretty steadily on creating a new purpose, look, feel. We have an updated mission statement. We have an updated website. And it's a very large site, and there's a lot to it. And I'd love to go over some of the details as to what it is and how you can use it, who's it for. Life Energy Research is the system of study of life energy in each and every one of us and all things that exist. And it is a study that has put a format that we can approach these radiant energy sources, the body, animals, and this format will allow us to get answers from that system. So it's a series of numbers that are brought up by a subjective chain or an objective infrared scan. And the infrared scan is the breakthrough technology of life energy research, and it is one of our main components, one of our main things that we do, which is this infrared scanning that creates an objective chain of emotional energy that comes off of a person. Now, what can we do with emotional energy? What can we find out about somebody? Well, what we're looking for is blocks of the energy, areas of congealed energy, which will tell us where there's a dysfunction, or it'll give us a pattern that we can follow for so we can find potentially an answer as to what may be going on with the person getting the scan. And we call anybody working with SAF, the self-awareness formulas, which is the system that involves the formatting for the chain of numbers. We call anybody using it a safent. We don't like the word patient because we don't want anyone to be patient about a problem. We want everybody to be proactive. And we consider anybody using SAF to be a safent. So the safent would come in with a major complaint, whatever that may be. The infrared scan then comes up with an objective chain, and it points to organs and glands that are showing signs of what we call heat or congealed energy. And this will then map out a sequence that we can follow to help alleviate the symptoms of the major complaint, whatever that may be. I wanted to play a little snippet of an old seminar that I'm going to be putting out on our YouTube channel, SAF Training, or youtube.com / @SAF Training. And I'm going to be putting this up there. It's a 40 years ago in July 31st, my dad did a seminar around the beginning of the infrared. I believe the infrared came out in late '82. And I remember as a child, he brought it home. It was brand new. I believe he scanned my hand to give a little sample of the new infrared, and the gun, as he will call it. Have gun will travel, and but he meant his infrared reader that was attached to an Apple II computer, and that's how the system used to be. These seminars are, for me, they're great nostalgia, but you get a sense of his humor and a sense of the system as well. Now, things have changed since '83 as far as how we do SAF, but that can be for another day or a private chat if you'd like. But I wanted to play one of a little snip from the seminar that I'll be putting out on our other YouTube channel. And let's see what we have here.
Electric motion. An emotion is an electric motion. You have glands. These glands are terminals. This is a coined term that we use. Now, I looked in a dictionary, and they said that that's not what it means, but I say that's what it means. I don't care what the hell I'm talking about. That's electric motion. An emotion is an electric motion. You have glands. These glands are terminals. They're like conductors. And they throw energy back and forth between each other, and they make electric motion. And the terminals are like the thymus, and the bones, and the heart, and the spleen. Doing stuff to run your body makes a type of electric motion that you could spot and say, hey, that guy's got allergies. Or, I'll bet that person has just broken up with his best love because of this electric motion. You know why? Because the glands are going to make that person demonstrate that electric motion, and it's going to be an emotion. And they're going to be antagonized as hell first. Really antagonized kind of person. Somebody's just going to be looking for a fight. Then they're going to be kind of rejected and morose. Going to be sad about the love they lost. And they may even have some pain. And then again they may return to a state of aggressiveness. Now if you see that pattern in somebody, you say, geez, what's the matter with that guy? One minute he's arguing, next minute he's asking for forgiveness, next minute he's arguing and he's asking for forgiveness. What the heck does that mean? Well, it means something, for God's sake. But I'll tell you what, you go to 50 doctors and 50 out of 50 will tell you, take a Valium. or take something, to squash it. I don't want to squash it. Don't take my wart away. I want to see what it is. And that's what it is. And those emotions are relative to what we call a number change. Now, if we get change from a certain test that we use, like the urine, that's taken some chemical residues, some metabolites and things like that, and running them through the process and getting that change. We want to look at that. Then we could do eye readings. We could do blood readings. We could do all kinds of different ways of getting these change. But we always have to remember where the heck it came from. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference or a whole lot of sense to write a chain unless we know where it comes from. In other words, we take a chain from the urine, it's going to be different than if we take one from the SAF. You do not, run them the same way. An SAF chain, symptom awareness format, is from the subjective. It's a mental one. And the urine chain is from the objective. It's from urine. It can't be considered the same thing. They aren't the same thing. And yet you'll find the same exact kind of quirks or emotional upsets related to organ values in both. And I'll do this in front of doctors and they don't see it. They don't see it. I don't see what's the what. So I got a 1, 2, 3 in one and a 1, 2, 3 in the other. What does that mean? Well, these doctors, you put your symptoms down, it came out 1, 2, 3, and he took some urine from you, it came out 1, 2, 3. I mean, the odds against that are 1 in 1 times 10 to the 24th power. How could it come out like that? The only way it can come out like that is if you've got some stuff or frozen energy on those bands. They're broadcasting an emergency signal is saying, help me because I'm dramatizing or reenacting some trauma I've had in the past. What's the matter with me? I walk around, I'm miserable and I'm sad and I'm complaining all the time. And people, what do? They ignore me. Or they say, oh, just ignore him. He's just always that way. But that's a signal. There's no doubt about it. They're putting out some kind of a signal to try to tell you something. But we all ignore everybody. That's what we do all day long. There he goes again. Come on, please. Nothing you can do about it. Somebody goes in a jealous rage, shoots 5 people, and they put them on the news. And what do they say about it? Do they give you the chain of sequence of emotions? Do they tell you how they could have handled it? No, they just report it. 5 people are dead tonight. And 1 critically wounded because so-and-so had a jealous rage. And now the weather. Everyone goes, well, why? Why did he have a jealous rage? I'm wondering, geez, what made that guy do that? He was a very quiet man. Nobody really knew why he didn't. Just never said much. Well, Jesus, that's a symptom, you jerk. Man never says anything, Never says anything, then scratches himself profusely, then never says anything. That's the sequence.
Well, there we go. So that is a clip from the show that will be a seminar that will be out on YouTube for SAF training. That is from 40 years ago. This is a seminar that was a training for electromagnetic bioenergetics, the electromagnetic spectrum, holistic wellness, and the operations of the self-awareness formulas, and also infrared scans. The infrared scans, there are a couple examples that will be done in the seminar that I'll be posting to the SAF Training YouTube. And I believe that our new site, Life Energy Publications, has a way for you to sign up as a member. It's a free membership, and it just allows you to get updates as to when new seminars are posted, new courses are added, and maybe some discounts or specials on the books. We have 14 titles listed, and we are looking to do maybe two more in the coming few years. It's going to be a little while. The Evolution of Modern Mankind and Time Travel. And those two books are slightly done, so there might be a little bit of work that needs to be done to get them up to snuff and into the modern times. But the website lifeenergypublications.com has all sorts of fun stuff about life energy and about change from our old 2017 site. And we still have our saftests.com, so that if you have questions or having trouble with a SAF chain of numbers, need to get some answers, and point you in the right direction, point you to a practitioner locally to you, or give you some tidbits of an answer through the contact form. And so that's some updates in regards to the website, lifeenergypublications.com, which is a brand new site. And it looks pretty good. I'm liking it. We're going to be doing a full migration from Scogna.com to lifeenergypublications.com in a little while. We're almost there. So there's a few more things to be worked out, but I'd encourage you to go over, check it out, get any questions or comments. I'd love to hear them. And a nice reminder to look at the sponsors in the description. Please help to support this show by supporting sponsors. And when we have guests on, I really encourage you to, if you listen to the show and you liked what you hear, follow the link for the guest. Go check out what they have to offer. A lot of them offer discounts. If you mention the show, you might get a discount on a service or a book. Next week, I'm going to have 3 shows, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. These are all pre-recorded. They look to be really good shows. We have this Saturday, we have Rogers, and he has 2 books that he's put out. We're going to be discussing that. And next week, it's Matthew Ponak, who has a book called Embodying Kabbalah. I'm a real big fan of Kabbalah. And so it's a pretty cool dive into the system from a person that really has a good basis of knowledge. It's Rabbi Matthew Ponak, and then 2 more. We have Thursday and Saturday next week. And we're going to be doing that for the next several weeks, 3 shows. So really tune in, subscribe. There will be a lot of updates coming. And so I want to go over some more news, something else, again, falling into the lines of, I guess it would be philosophy. I think pyramid science maybe is philosophy, cosmology perhaps, and then this may fall into the cosmology line too. Alternative news for sure. But I'd like to kind of go over the new news that we have coming out next week, which is all about the UAPs, the UFOs. We're going to be having a meeting, there's going to be some action happening in Congress with some people coming out as whistleblowers. I guess they're called whistleblowers, or perhaps they're called people with information that's of clandestine operations that the government or third parties from the government have been doing in relation to the potential that we aren't alone here, that there have been visitors, and that we've been interacting with these visitors over the course of time that we've been able to interact with them. Flying machines. When we've had flying machines, now we've been able to interact with these flying machines. Imagine that. But there is some kind of information coming out that would be really interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing this reveal. There was an interview a few weeks back by David Grush, who said that he had knowledge of other people, firsthand knowledge that they had of working with these ships from multiple different kinds of ships, and who knows where they're from, but definitely not human technology. And they have firsthand knowledge. He interviewed them, vetted them, and went up the channel to try and get this properly written up through Congress and was had some issues. Imagine that, some problems. Perhaps some government didn't want him to reveal what he had found out. The idea there is that if it's not true, they're making it really, really hard to talk about it, and they're putting up a lot of blockades to get that information out. But Congress is now hot on the tail. We'll see how long that lasts. And there should be a reveal and more to come. I believe that the Pentagon has been put on call. In 300 days, they have to come up with an assessment of exactly what they have. There's very specific wording in a Defense Authorization Act speaking about pieces, parts of exotic origin. And I think that that is the key. We don't care what it is, but if it's exotic, we should know about it. And being that this has been studied and researched on the fringe, if you want to call it that, for decades, and then wrapped up and covered up for decades by the government, this is groundbreaking, earth-shattering in a sense, as far as our sense of our place in the universe. And again, it puts us on call to really investigate for ourselves what it would mean if we were in a very populated galactic space rather than isolated, feeling all by ourselves and in our own little fishbowl. What if we were in a populated space? What if there were extraterrestrials or non-human entities that came here to check us out, to do a little sightseeing, look at our monuments? It's something that we like to do. We like to go places and look at other people's monuments and, take vacations. Perhaps this is a really cool vacation spot. And, we just happen to be the fish swimming around on the ground. But either way, it's really, leaves a lot of food for thought. I'm really excited to see what's going to transpire next week, next month, and then the rest of this year should be just full of more and more and more revelations. And these revelations heal us in a way. If we feel like we can't trust the government because they hide things and their secrets, these reveals might help heal that wound of feeling like we've been lied to or we've been kept away from something. This reveal might also give us new technology that might help the planet. It might be technology that involves gravitics that allow us to pull away from fossil fuels, pull away from perhaps even solar, other means that we're trying to make energy with to sustain our civilization and culture. These ships, this technology, may involve a means for us to explore the heavens, to go into space in a more suitable way. Right now, it's exceptionally dangerous, even I believe, to go to the moon for a biological person. To go up to the moon, to go to Mars, you have to go past the radiation belt. And I don't know that they've had a fix for that. That means just the showering of radiation on the vehicle. I believe that would be pretty toxic to the passengers. So perhaps these hidden ships, this history that has been held from us, and these advancements that have been held from us for so long, perhaps they have an answer in them for us to be able to travel in space safely, or remove the caustic fossil fuels being used here. Who knows? But I leave it to you to do the investigation if you're interested. I found it very mind-expanding, and it has opened me to a whole new perspective and a whole new sense of my place in the universe, which I love. I just love that. And the pyramid as well. The new scans with the pyramid have done the exact same thing. What is going on there? And why is the Egyptian government, not allowing people to do these scans on the normal? to find out where more tunnels are. So anyway, lots of questions and lots of thoughts. I believe that falls under philosophy of some sort, which is part of this show. So I wanted to share that wonderful news that the pyramid, yes, after millennia, we have found more tunnels, more passageways, more chambers than ever imagined. And here we are. You know, what a wonderful age to be in right now. As well as the UFO unveiling. That is also something that doesn't mean that they're going to pop up and be like, hey, yep, we're here. But for us to expand our consciousness, to maybe open up to being a little bit more gracious to our neighbors, to feel more like a global society and less isolated and national. There is a very large universe out there, one that we can't comprehend, and nor should we. But we should be open to the expansion of our consciousness, to the potential and the ideas, to be tolerant of other people's ways and means. And that would go for non-terrestrial entities as well. Tolerance, I think, is something that really needs to be nurtured and developed and contemplated, how to be tolerant. But that, I believe, would be our show. So hopefully that was a fun live presentation. I do encourage you again to visit our regular guests' links in the show and check out their books and their offerings. Mention the show so that they know you're coming from the Holistic Monitor. That's very helpful to me. And please share, like, comment, do all the fun stuff if you found this information or any of the shows have been helpful. That is the goal and purpose, is to put out a message that can be helpful, that can help us to grow in self-discovery, self-exploration, our spirituality, to develop our philosophy, and also to have great conversations. So until next time, I hope to see you at the 50th show. Be well.